Good evening, folks. Look, nobody said anything. I couldn't catch them out. Damn it! Good evening, all. Welcome, Wobbly Player Syndrome Warhammer 40k podcast. Sorry, something popped up, caught my attention, and I started reading that whilst talking. It doesn't work that way. I'm a simple man.
Very simple.
How's everyone going? Look, we've got a full house again. Hope you're going to enjoy the evening. Episode 44. It's called Tools of the Hobby. I think, and we've got 6 of them right here. Fantastic. Let's meet them.
I think there's someone to do that joke.
Yeah, well, I had to do it. We have, I'm no longer a fill-in. Stop calling me that. Adam.
Hey, I'm not a fill-in.
We have Safe for Work, Mark.
Hey, everybody.
We have Represent RLG, Anto.
Yeah, I'm the only one who's bought the t-shirt. So hello, everyone.
Radio Mike.
Hey, everyone. I was about to say I put the wrong coffee mug. Duh.
Mine's at work and we haven't been allowed back. It's been great. And of course, we've got Not Safe for Work, Mark.
And I'm glad to see you left the worst for last, so thank you so very much.
Well, I did that because I can go straight into you because you are the one who chose the topic for this month, so you get to host, right?
No, it doesn't work that way. You're the professional. You're the one who gets the paid sponsors and all that. Come on.
Oh, yeah, paid sponsors. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You really trust me, man with this hairstyle.
Fair point. Fair point.
We've all got that hairstyle.
Hey.
Yeah.
I don't have hair as well.
The headset hides the
Oh, no, it doesn't.
business at the front.
This is very businessman looking at the moment. I don't like it.
There are 2 lockdown hairstyles: buzz cut or what the rest of us have.
True.
And, yep.
The guaranteed party at the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gone a lot that way. Yeah, I thought, I'm getting used to the long hair at the front. Then it started reaching the collar down here. Went, no, get it off, get it off. Unfortunately, my sons, one's got the big mullet, and he's been walking around in footy shorts. I'm going, oh no, it's the mullet and footy shorts. Oh no,
He's got the mullet mohawk, doesn't he?
it's terrible. So it's a bit of a surprise watching that. But there you go. Right, how is everyone? Good, excellent. Sorry, there's a whole lot of things that are missing. So you keep talking amongst yourself as I add certain things that are missing.
Wow.
Nothing to see here.
Ultimate professionalism.
So how about we go into the new releases then?
Great idea.
Someone remembers our water.
How about that segue? Amazingly, Greg missed me talking about this when he was trying to catch someone at the start of the podcast there. The Black Templars Army Box has come out. I've seen reports of people already receiving theirs today. I still haven't got mine yet, so I'm a bit cut. Which is a fantastic looking box. I'm really fucking horny for these new Black Templars. Ooh. They look so good. And it's also cool to see some Primaris that have got like cool power weapons. They're not like all equipped the same, and they've got like power axes and power maces and lightning claws and shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of add-ons for them.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
A bit jealous.
And they also released one of them that is like that new the Marshal that they've done based on the artwork, which is apparently intended to be used as a Firstborn or a Primaris, depending on how you want to use him.
Yep.
They've said that he's officially allowed to be both.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I thought they were killing off Firstborn.
Well, they've released a new Firstborn model now.
Yeah.
Who is also a Primaris model. He is a Firstborn. He looks like a Firstborn who is the height of a Primaris.
He's a big boy.
Like he's
So
huge.
what? You if you want him to be Firstborn, you cut the trim off his knee pads and stuff.
He doesn't have trim on his knee pads. He's wearing Firstborn armor.
Okay.
Like he's wearing the armor of the guy on the cover because that's what he is.
Yeah. It's a very good model.
Yeah, it's it's an interesting model. I'm not sold on the shoulder pads. They look good in art. I don't think they look good on a model. But I might be wrong if I see it in person. Other things that came out, I believe this week's pre-orders are the Crusade Mission Pack Containment and Book 1 Octarius Rising Tide, which I'm curious to see what's in that.
Oh, that's the Guard, the Cadians, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the Warzone Octarius.
Yeah.
that the kill team is based on.
A knit.
Yeah, so that's like our interesting side note into fluff because I love to. Apparently, you know how I was whinging about how I wanted
No.
to see the storyline. Yeah, I know, hard to believe me whinging. I wanted to see the storyline of what happened with Inquisitor Cryptman tricking the Hive fleet to attack the Orcs.
Yep.
That's
Yeah?
been high on my list too.
That's what Octarius is.
Ah.
Ooh, yeah.
Octarius is the fallout from that. That's why you've got the Super Orcs showing up because they've been fighting the fucking Tyranids.
So it's got Darkman's just joined in, and he's just got banned from a stream for asking the stream if they like sandcastles.
Okay.
And that's not like a double entendre or something.
That's something we don't need to go Urban Dictionary for.
Well, at least
I'm
it's
not up with
building
the
a
lingo.
snowman.
Oh, it's a bit. I was wondering. Come on. Thank you as well. Thank you very much.
And so yeah, I thought that was interesting about Octarius. That's apparently what it is.
Yeah,
it's
it's
that
interesting.
Warzone. And also they're releasing a new AOS Underworld Harrow Deep. There's
Saw that.
not heaps of new releases these days on account of these trying times. He said, not saying the magic word.
Their shares are dropping. Haven't you heard?
Are they having trying times in the UK? I thought everything was open.
No, well, I think they're
Kind of.
yeah.
They're just because the world's been a bit subdued.
Yeah. There's
they've
going
been
to be a
on
lot of
pause.
catch up to happen as well. So yeah.
Yeah.
With the Underworlds, I don't know how much they can. What extra can they do? It looks it's a
Probably
new board.
mostly new models and a new board.
Well,
I
this
don't
one's
know. I haven't
this
been
one's-
doing that.
Or was it a deck-based game?
I
So it's-
think it is.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
It's
kind
not
of
dice because it got my attention. It's not dice. It's
Oh, you got to
not
build
like
a
a
deck.
small.
Yeah.
It's a deck base, yeah. So
It's still
it's,
a dice.
yeah. There's a couple of dice, not many, but yeah, it's cards everywhere.
It's how I judge if they are worth following, depending on the answer about sandcastles. There you go.
Well, I like them wet and moist and fun to play with. There you go. If they're too dry, it's just going to hurt when you rub your hands around a lot, and nobody enjoys that.
Oh, does not safe work follow from that? Yes, I
I
believe
did not
so.
say a single rude word. I was describing the sandcastle. If you want to take a comparison to that, go right ahead, you filthy filth.
Well, if sandcastle isn't a euphemism, it is now.
Well, some of them have a big entrance, some of them have a small entrance. It's up
So,
to
anything else being released?
No, I mean that's pretty much everything that's been released
Fair enough.
from what I've noticed. There's been some books and comics and shit. I'm sure there's been Warhammer Plus animations come out, but I haven't been keeping up with that.
No, nor have I. Yeah, I haven't been paying much attention. I'll be frank, of what's going on in the Warhammer world. Games Workshop world, I should say.
I know people have been ranting and raving about Warhammer Plus and being
Yeah.
able to watch all the content inside, I think, 3 hours.
Yeah, I think when we get to our what have you done for me lately, it's going to get very interesting.
Yeah, I lost interest in when I actually I saw a leaked copy. I'm not going to lie, I saw a leaked copy of one of the painting videos, and I couldn't handle it because the way that the person's skin all around their fingers was flaky and curly. I just wanted to stop and say, just get into a pair of clippers, cut your nails, clean your fingers up. Oh my God, people are looking at your fingers.
If most of your content is a close up of your fingers, get
Yeah.
a fucking manicure.
Yeah,
Oh,
you would think so.
Skin off the feeling. It's not a good look. It's like, yes, it's a nerd hobby, but geez, nerd and stuck at home like that, not good.
Hey,
Oh no.
in the grim darkness of the future, there is only war. No pedicures.
manicures.
Or gloves.
No
That's
manicures.
right. Put the bloody black gloves on that everyone seems to be reminded.
Mine are medical grade blue.
Mine are
Mine are
white.
still look
Pretty
beautiful.
boring.
I
Food
don't
grade
have
white.
You got to get yourself some serial killer purple ones.
Yeah. You said serial killer. I actually thought cereal. I went, what? Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man running the show.
I didn't say I was quick. Alright, so it has been a short time between our last podcast and this one. But we had some loosening of the restrictions that we have for our lockdown, which allowed us to have one
A
person
flurry
over
of games.
and then more people. But before we get into games, we need to paint stuff, right? See how I've rewound back to the hobby progress part? Smooth!
There's a hobby in this place.
Smooth as a sandcastle.
Well, it's good. No, I'm not going
He's
yet.
he's just whipping that bait out and reeling it back in.
Yeah, that's
I'm
it.
going to be a good boy.
Adam, that is your Grey Knights, I believe, for hobby progress.
I don't know. I'm waiting for the thing. Yes, Grey Knights. Yes. I have now. Yes, Brother Captain. They're having a nice little discussion there.
It looks like it.
It looks like Brother Captain's inspecting the apothecary. I now have roughly, I think I worked out, I've got 11 models left for my 2,000 points of Grey Knights. One built, the rest I've got to build.
Building's the best bit.
Oh, yeah. No, I've actually really enjoyed painting the Grey Knights. Yeah, it's just a different paint. It's just something different. You know, it's not
Repainting.
flesh, it's nothing
Yeah.
green, but it's just a different thing.
Nice. I don't know who's up next because we're pretty rushed put together this week. Oh, it's me. Oh, there you go. All right, that's my Eradicators. I did finish within the couple of weeks between episodes. I have challenging. Oh, and the Drakari Hellions.
Wow,
Oh my
you-
god, I
you
forgot they were
painted a
called.
lot.
I forgot what they were called. That was brilliant. So I have challenged myself to finish off my Primaris Salamanders for the Christmas battle to have against Anthony's Blood Angels. So I did have, I think it was 2,100 models to paint, and I was making a good dent, and then a good Samaritan decided to dump some more Primaris on my desk. So I went, okay, so now we're looking closer to 2.5. Excellent. So it's good. So I'm getting through them though. The aggressors are almost done, which is the next one. Then I'll be a librarian. So it's good. You'll be able to see the things going on.
And
Who's
what
next?
colour are the Good Samaritan ones?
Oh, they're red, so I can't show them.
Red.
Okay, that looks like a Necron.
Hey,
and
I got a red ultramarine.
this would be not safe for work.
Well, there
marks.
you'll see some of that on red Space Marines.
Yep.
So I've had a little bit of work, so I forgot to send a picture across to Greg for it. But I actually finished off that troop carrier for the AdMech that I had been working on for a little while, playing around with a few things. So it was, a bit of a challenge trying a few techniques out, but it's just really cemented in me. I'm not buying secondhand stuff for a while because it's a shit to paint because you can't get into all the corners. So apart from that, I was happy with it. But these were more of an experiment than serious painting. So when I heard about we were getting a chance to play, I thought I'd whip up a quick kill team. And I'd been given a couple of Smurf intercessors, and I'd also got my hands on some of that chameleonic colour changing paint. So I sat down one afternoon and just smashed out 5 Smurfs, which for me was, almost like an insanity-causing moment touching Smurfs. I don't know why I could ever do it after all the shit that I've given Smurfs over the years. Sorry, Mark, I can't do it for me. It was horrible. But in result, damn, they were nice and fun to play with. And the other one is just a colour scheme that I was trying to whip up for Necron Immortal. So you can't see it there, but it's actually supposed to be a dark greeny blue colour with lime greeny yellow for all the energy effects. So more of a play around and have fun than a serious build.
Yeah, we were talking about this off screen, these metallic paints. Photos don't do them justice because we were fortunate enough to see them in the flesh, so to speak, yesterday. And yeah, that red comes in that gold and the green. It was just some beautiful color shifts that was happening. Just when you look at it. If you do look at yesterday's stream where we did play some Kill Team, you'll actually see some of it in the camera because just the way we moved it around to try and highlight it. But it was pretty nice.
I'm also going to try and get some of the various shades showing the different colors up on my Instagram feed fairly soon. So hopefully I can get them so you can see just a bit of the difference. So check it out. I know I'm not an Instagrammer, but it's worthwhile to check how the colors come up.
Cool. And then we have, if it works, this! It's Anthony.
So this is my Primaris Repulsor Executioner. I actually ordered this just before our lockdown time, and then the warehouse got shut down, and unfortunately it took a very long time to arrive. But when it did arrive, I was very keen to get some modeling happening, so I pretty much built it and painted it in a weekend. I just ripped into it.
That's dedication.
I think he's just scared about my salamanders. He's got to try and bring in some heavy guns.
It's funny. I actually don't think I'll ever field it. It really doesn't feel Blood Angel-y enough.
Put a jetpack on it.
I like it.
What do you mean? It's got like a semi-assault cannon looking thing on it that makes it Blood Angel-y.
Yeah,
It's all
Gun on the side.
just assault cannons on various things.
It is
It's
a
got
lot
the
of
Blood
guns.
Angel symbol, so
it
it's a
was a
Blood
very
Angel.
fun model to make. Big. It's
Nice.
Land Raider size, so it's pretty chunky. But yeah, it was good fun. Apart from that, I'm making a lot of scenery at the moment. A lot of the laser cut MDF laser cut stuff from Knights of Dice and from miniature scenery as well. Just getting some new battlegrounds happening, and there's a sense I sliced my finger open tonight, trying to put some battle damage onto one of them. So it actually, the model does have some really realistic blood splatters on it at the moment. It's really cool. But yeah, that's my model progress. I'm sitting on an order to get some more models now.
Very good. Yeah, well, now I've got to go through what the Good Samaritan's given me. Thank you, Prana Hill. To work out
I
what
may be able to
actually need.
donate. I may be able to donate one of those to you as well.
What? I'm good.
First comes, first serve.
Anyway.
Greg goes, I'll be up there in 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to an ad. It'll just put it on loop. Be fine.
There's an ad you can run, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, run. Good luck. I went for a walk today. I went, oh, that hurt. And it was just to the kitchen. No.
He was too heavy.
No, shut up. All right, so we did actually get some games in. So we had, I think, the first day that we had allowed to have one person over. Anthony, you got a game in.
Yep.
Wonderful. I'm hoping yours is the first one that's going to come up because I've started with you now.
Okay.
It is. Yes.
Okay, all right. So I had Grey Knights versus. Oh, no, this is my second game. This is Blood Angels versus Craft Worlds or whatever they're called these days, with a hint of Harlequins. This was a 2,500 point game. We were going to play it over 2 nights. And we finished it in a night. I was knackered. It was nearly 1 when we got it done. But yeah, look, it went full 5 turns. It was just. I couldn't pick it right to the end who was going to win. And in the end, it was the Craft Worlds by 1 point, 64 to 63.
Wow.
That kind of, yeah. So I knew it was going to happen. I didn't score any. One of my secondary objectives, I didn't get a point in at all, but I filled everything else out pretty much. So I think I was 1 point, 2 point off one of them. But yeah, I just couldn't. I went to assassinate his character and go. So he got 5 points if you killed him, another 5 if you killed it in close combat, another 5 if your warlord did it.
Yeah.
I couldn't get near him at all game.
He just
He
ran
kept on
away.
moving. Well, he was up on top of this big pole that he chose a character that was a long-range Death Jester type thing and stuff like that, so I couldn't get near him. The other game was Grey Knights versus Harlequins. That was a pretty cool game. That was very close as well, but I did end up tabling the Harlequins in the end in that game. That was a joyful moment for me.
And that was your first game since the
That was the
restriction.
first game back.
And
yeah,
what happened with the ladder after you won that one?
So I took the lead very briefly. Yes, yeah, very briefly, like maybe an hour before Greg.
No, we didn't play our game to the following day.
Okay, all right.
That was one day.
Yeah,
it was very nice. It was a very nice feeling being on top of the ladder for just that brief moment in time. It's given me a taste for it now. The game is on.
Game is on. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Greg and I are planning our Christmas battle: Red versus Green, Salamanders versus Blood Angels. That might be the tiebreaker, the deciding grand final. It's going to be big. I don't know how much Greg can paint up in that time.
It's going to be huge. Freaking hell, it's going to be huge. I think there'll be at least 2.5 of the Primaris But then if I have to fill in with the firstborn,
Yeah. I can bring 10 grand easy if you want. 10,000 points, no worries.
Grand on the
Reinforcements
table.
have arrived.
yeah, it could be a week's game. Yeah, a meat grinder.
No,
Just bring a new
both-
4C time.
Both games have been really good fun. But someone else has to take on Chris. Take on Chris.
I did try and organise a game with him, but instead
Yep.
the first game I had was against Adam, and it was my
Yep.
Drakari versus his Chaos cohort. Oh, Be'lakor cohort, in fact.
The renowned of Be'lakor.
So,
Yeah.
Well, go on. You tell the story.
Oh, it was a nice spring afternoon. The wind was going across on a northwesterly direction, and Be'lakor went into a pink mist. So no, it actually went quite good.
It was
I
bloody.
think at the end, it was very bloody.
I lost
by
3
the end,
units before I had a turn.
Yeah, Be'lakor just went straight in and just took his. What's the transport that you had?
One of the
that they got?
Raiders.
Yeah, the Raiders, and he just went, ha, thunk, just tap. 21 points later, he's just got off the table. Yeah, and then he just shot Be'lakor, boom, dead, straight turn 2, and I went, at that turning point, I should have just shook hands and just went home. Saved the other 4 hours of time.
We
But at
did
the
play it
end,
out.
I think at the end, I only had 2 models left, which were just Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah, so
And
the
yes,
photos are got.
1 wound,
Yeah,
Chaos Space Marine.
yeah, but I
And an
couldn't kill him.
Obliterator. And
Couldn't
an
kill him.
Obliterator was the only 2 left, and he couldn't kill them.
No.
It came down to, I think, when I was starting to doing the calculations at turn 3, at the end of turn 4, at my end of turn 4 to yours,
Yeah.
you were winning by 1 point. So it wasn't really that big, but it was.
No. As I said, I lost 3 units before I had a first turn, and it didn't get much better. Okay, this is going to hurt. So I was, I think if we did stream the game, so if you go back, you'll see me sort of stressing, sweat pouring down. What do I do? What do I do?
Yeah.
And then I realised, kill Be'lakor, then I should be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kill Be'lakor, everything just falls apart because you lose your bubble aura, everything like that, and it's just like you lose your corn, you lose your Slanesh, advantages, you lose all the advantages. Even the Chaos Space Marines couldn't pick a legion, so they're like undivided. Haha, I'm just a Chaos Space Marine. It's just like
With 1
oh,
wound.
man.
That's so brutal.
Yeah,
we
1
did
wound as
agree
well.
next time we play, if you use it, we've given them the 2 wounds because that's just stupid. Yeah, I thought they had that update. So anyway,
No,
So the Chaos Space Marine only has 1 wound.
because
Yes.
they don't have a new codex.
Well, they're
They don't-
heretics, so
Oh shit!
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, no
And-
codex.
the
So
old-
there you go.
It's the old 10,000-year-old Marine is like arthritic or something.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
Hold my band-aids.
they don't have
Yeah.
Voltaren in the warp. Yeah,
but
his
it,
mutations are aching.
it was a very fun. It was a very fun battle.
it was.
And before we start, I'm interested to play the Grey Knights with the demons and see how they will actually go.
Can't wait to do that.
It'd be interesting.
Always- I've always wanted to do Grey Knights versus Demons. And
Yeah.
never had a
Yeah.
chance. Never had a chance. So yeah, it'd be cool.
And
I
we did.
think ours was about 2,200 points. I think it was.
Yeah, 2,200 because I used my entire Drakari army, which has been my project this year, to finish off, which I finally did. Huzzah! So that was their first battle, fully painted, which is good. That's been a project and a half since I bought them 2 years ago.
Look, your Drakari were just living up to the name. They were just a very slow grow.
Yes, they were very slow growing. But yeah, I enjoyed them, and I threw them down for a kill team match yesterday. We played 3 kill team matches. Mark, myself, and Adam, to try out the new rules as requested by one of our viewers, Tip Top Baker. He wanted us to demo the game so he could learn the rules. Perhaps we should learn them first.
No, second game was like Greg looked away and he goes, "Oh, is it
It's
done?
over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mate,
yeah.
we're over."
First game we were reading the rules a lot. It was Witches versus Grey Knights. Oh my god. Yeah, that hurt. And then when it was the Grey Knights versus the Marines, I turned around to talk to the stream, and then the game was over. I went, what the? What happened?
And we went. Yeah, that's turn. That's yeah. I think we went to turn 4 or something like that. Yep.
Yeah, we got up towards the end of turn 4.
Yeah, it was funny. It was hilarious, but I enjoyed the game. We didn't use all the mechanics like the a lot of the what are they called, the tactical ploys and things like that,
and the strategic ploys or whatever, the strategic
yes.
pops.
We did fairly vanilla force. I especially did vanilla because I spent my 10 equipment points and forgot everything, so I didn't use any of them. It's good. But
A standard game.
yeah. I do have concerns because I played my second game with Tempestus Guard against Marines, and I was dead before.
No, that was
Necrons versus Necrons.
Necron
That's right.
Mortals.
And I had lost all of mine by turn 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so you got to really think about the scenery and the terrain and how you use it. I was misusing it.
Yeah, if we hadn't known about the obscuring over the cover, that would have changed the game for you and would have made it more difficult for me.
Yeah,
the line of sight with unlimited range lasers.
Yeah,
and you were screwed.
So yeah, when we see the gun doesn't actually have a range next to it, it means it has no range. It means it can fire as long as it can see something. That hurts. And don't stand next to a wall. Stand about 2 inches off the wall, and then you can't be seen. That's where I was falling. So it was interesting.
This is the you're learning what it is to be a NIDS player.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how NIDS play. Yeah. Because you can move, or shoot, and yeah, interesting.
Well, in those spots, I was just going shoot because I didn't need to move.
Oh, yeah, so I played against armies that both had 3 action points to my 2. I go, hey, run! And they shoot! Oh, that's all I got. And they go, oh, we're going to shoot 3 times.
My Immortals only had 2, but they had 2 very good actions.
Yes, it hurt. But it was good. I will look forward to playing that again. And it'd be good to start a campaign. I know our times at the moment are a bit up and down with the restrictions and stuff like that, so our campaign 40k campaign may turn into Kill Team campaign. So we'll see how that goes. Leave that on Adam.
Yeah, it was real fun with me changing my entire strategy. As anyone's ever played with my Necrons, I like to sit back, wait, and react to see what everyone else has done. When I played with those Space Marines, I thought, no, fuck this shit. I'm just going to go into his face.
Yeah.
And it turned out into the most brutal game I've ever seen, either Kill Team or long version at all. And it was absolutely hilariously fun.
Yeah, it was 6-inch range to 4-inch range for the Grey Knights. It was just like, oh, well, in range straight away.
Yeah. It's got some interesting rules. Like, there's no armor save in hand-to-hand combat. Full stop. No armor save. It's all about how well you use your attack dice.
You roll, I roll. There's Maliga. It's sorted out.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
That's an interesting decision.
Well, basically, if I roll 6, 4, 3, and you roll 6, 5, 1, you can block 2 of my hits, but the third one's got through. So you try to outroll me with your weapon. So it's basically making you both hitting your weapons at the same time, because you can choose to parry or you can choose to hit. Yeah.
So it's a bit more like old second ed combat.
Oh man, that's testing me.
I don't know.
Sure.
Old second ed combat was you both rolled your dice, you both rolled all your attacks, you got your highest roll, you added your weapon skill, and only one of you would score hits.
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that. Not quite,
Yeah,
but
that's
yeah.
right.
Wow.
But then you could parry them and make them re-roll dice and etc. etc.
Yeah, it's a quick game. We played 3 games in 3 hours, and that's with us going, what does this rule do? I don't know.
And the first one probably took a lot longer, and because we were reading the rules and doing the proper flipping the action tokens and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whereas the second one, we just both acknowledged we're not going to the cover. We're just going to full up.
We're either going objectives or trying to kill each other.
Yeah. Cool. All right. We talked about battle reports. We've done our regular stuff. We're going to go to a small advert break. There will be a paid advert in this one as well. We look really cool and exciting. Just enjoy it. And then we'll come back and we will talk about our tools of the hobby.
Yay.
We are Rollers, and we have the games for you. Be it board games, card games, dice games, or party games. You name it, and we have it. Find us online at rollersboardgames.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at rollersboardgames.
From acoustic to distortion, Storyboard Concept is music that's honest, relaxing, and full ball rockin' music. Follow Colin at storyboardconcept.bandcamp.com. So, this month's episode, Tools of the Hobby. And we're not talking about the people who decide to play at tournaments without a shirt on. We're talking about what we use in our hobby and what surprises us, what we recommend, if you're a starter, what you should probably get your hands on, get your tool off it, get your hand off it. This is brought to you by Not Safe for Work Mark. So, of course, when he wants to talk about tools, we'll let him go first.
Well, as they say, a tool leads to tool, so there you go. The reason why I come up with this thought is basically I was thinking the other day, and so everyone gets different things from the hobby. Some people prefer the gaming side of it. Some people prefer the building side of it. And I'm a bit more of the building, painting, creating part of it. And I was thinking, I've got a lot of crap here. What actually is stuff that I think is really vital for me when I'm building? And I was having a look around, and it's like, well, I'm pretty sure that everyone else has got their favourite tools that they use to help them create the stuff. And why not share that idea around? Have a think about it and share what our thoughts are. See if we can help any other one out there who's a bit stuck for some ideas or the right tool or even the right things to take along to the games.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff out there, so yeah. Help me, Master.
Now, I want to get myself an airbrush up and running, but I don't have one, so I'm not going to go into that. For me, the paints that I've actually been playing around with are obviously the color change ones, because they got me inspired again, actually having a little bit of fun that I wanted to play with. And thinking, well, it's that extra change, that little thought into it to do the little things that I would normally do. And that was inspired from you, actually, Greg, seeing what you'd done with your Dark Elves.
Yep.
And just saying, well, my guys are a little bit shiny metallic, give it a go, see how it works. So for me, number one on my 5 is the paint. Playing around with a brand new paint, having a bit of fun with that.
Yeah.
My second one is part of that. It's basing. Now, I'm not a fancy baser.
Can I interrupt and just talk about paints
as
a group? Because I know there's you just saying you're trying out the green stuff paints. It's green stuff, right?
Yeah, it's green stuff, Will.
Yeah. And I've got the Verhello color shift ones. But with the paints, we all GW covert, right? Yeah, one of us. Does anyone else use different paints? Is it worth using different paints? If you're starting out, is it worth getting different paints? I have 3 different paints I use. I use the Citadel, Army Painter, and P3s. And that's just over time.
I'm using Army Painter, and I've still got the Tamiya hobby paints as well, which I use quite a lot, especially in basing. They have a nice coverage for the paints, and the sprays are pretty good too. So, yeah.
I was using Army Painter for my Astra Militarum because of the Earth, the normal colours that you can get. And it's just, I like the textures. It was like not glossy, but it had a bit of a shine to it.
Yeah.
Oh, we lost him. Oh, he's back.
That's what happens if you had a bit of shine. Yeah. You said the wrong word, clearly.
That's what you get for using the wrong branded product.
Yeah.
Don't you know I'm watching you.
Yeah, I've definitely lost him.
Citadel.
No, there he is. He's back.
A lot of, yes. I also use mainly Citadel, but yeah, I've got a couple of Army Painters, but it's more browns and greens.
I go mostly Citadel stuff, except for the basing. I get the Army Painter base cans. So I find that the G-Dub stuff, if you've got to have the perfect day, you've got to have the perfect weather for it, no wind, no moisture, no nothing. The Army Painter is a little bit more forgiving, and it can be windy, it can be hot, it can be cold, there can be moisture in the air, and I find I get a more consistent spray out of the can, and it's more controlled, I think.
I totally agree with the Army Painted spray cans. Much better than GW ones.
Yeah.
Especially the white. I've had nothing but issues with the white with the GW ones.
Oh,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
GW white
Yeah.
is so bad. My only issue with the Army Painter sprays that I've used is that they did a limited run of bolt action sprays and then stopped.
What's
And
a bolt action spray?
they were bolt action colors. So they were British uniform brown, the Wehrmacht grey, and then they just discontinued them
Yeah.
just out of the blue, and they have no equivalent color. So
Wow.
my Brits, because I sprayed my entire modular scenery with British uniform brown, and now I can't color match that. Nobody makes that color.
Just do a different brown and say it was sun stained. Fine.
Yeah, it's the only thing that bugged me. Like
Yeah.
I went
These
to
are the ones
I
from
actually
Queensland.
contacted
These are the ones
Army
at daylight
Painter.
saving. Yeah.
I contacted Army Painter directly, and it's like, guys, how can I color match this? What's the closest? And they're like, oh, this is the closest. And I'm like, that's nothing like the color.
It's black.
Take it up to Taubman's, get it to color match it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like here you go. You want sunset orange.
But yeah, I agree. Their paints were really good. I just picked a poor fucking limited run color to use. Then again, GW have discontinued my Caliban green that I undercoated all my Dark Angels in. So
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
I'm
but if
don't
you're
have good luck
starting
with
out,
spray.
if you're starting with a hobby, I think GW paints a good start. If you pick up the box, you pick up the paints, their color range is pretty good. If you're simply starting out, you can see base, highlight, layer, that the three and texture and stuff. So it makes it easy for someone to come in. I think when we're starting to be professional, like SFW Mark, with his painting, one model a year, it's got to be pretty damn good. Come on.
Well,
I
yeah,
did pretty
reckon,
well with my Citadel paints. Thank you very much.
I reckon
some of them are better than others, though.
yeah.
I reckon as a starter, you're probably better off going with Citadel, if only because that way you've got all the tutorials that Citadel do, and you have the paints they're using.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you've got the
100%.
color app, and you've got the paints they're using. Like once you get more experienced, you start mixing your own colors, you start coming up with your own army schemes. But to get kind of those basic skills, it's easier if you don't have to worry about whether you're using the same colors as the tutorial you're trying to watch.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, when they did Indominus, they also released the Necron and the Space Marines paint sets. So you actually had everything you needed to get at a slightly discounted price to paint your army out of the scratch. So that works well for a beginner.
Discount GW. Sorry, I'm lost.
Yeah, I know. It's that first shot of crack. It's free to get you to come back later.
They also did that with every other armies, like orcs have got special orc skins and stuff like that. So they've got that stuff.
Well, even the models themselves, like you get a Space Marine, they could be blue because Smurfs. So you get the Death Guard, and they were that green Death Guard green, and they were trying to do that. I don't know if that was
Yeah,
to help with the
released
painting.
they released a whole range of like chaos colors.
Yeah.
Like Night Lord's blue and Iron Warrior's silver.
Oh, but
and
it was
that.
so good when they named it after the actual thing. You said, I need to paint salamanders. What green should I use? There's a salamander green. Maybe I should use that.
I should paint these guys Blood Angels orange.
Yes.
Yeah, and they did that with AOS as well, because you had the Stormcast silver and the gold, and it's just like, well, for the absolute beginner out there, I know that these suckers are supposed to be silver or gold.
Yeah. Now, I know there's a few people out there complaining about the pots themselves from GW.
I'm now moving over to droppers, and I can see why.
I do like droppers, but if you've got a dropper, you need a wet palette, in my opinion. You definitely need a wet palette. Because I generally put too much on the palette itself. So if a wet palette just keeps it moist. Oh, just lost half our viewers.
All three females have left the building.
And wet palettes. I'll jump over there because I've made the segue. You're welcome. Who has a wet palette?
I have a Tupperware container that I convert into one from time to time.
And that's where I was leading, because I've got also the sponge, the oven paper on a takeaway lid as my wet palette, and it works great.
I use it a lot more in summer when the paints dry out quicker.
Yeah.
Use the wet palette, but I haven't been using it lately. But look, I found them a revelation last summer. It was really hot. And trying to paint in the shed, and you mix them up the right colours and you put it on and you go back and it's completely dry. Yes, and you told me about it, Greg. You said, try the sweat palette thing up. I looked it up. I was like, oh, that is so coll. That's the greatest thing. I was amazed that it worked.
Should have marketed it.
But no, I'll use it again when it gets warmer again. And
Yeah.
I think just in terms of paint colours, if I do another army, and I am thinking about Tau, it will be not any Citadel colours at all. I want to branch out. I want to do different colours and different things, and a bit of spray gun action too. I'll see how we go.
Yeah, I'm learning how to do that. I'm going to stay at paint for just a second. I'm loving stepping myself into the texture paints, particularly on basing, because when I first started, not too long ago, I used to just do the plain matte black, cover up all the mistakes on the black. Then I stepped out into one of, I think it was Sterling Mud or something like that. It wasn't too hard. Now I'm playing with the crackle paints and putting undercoats underneath it to get the colour.
Yeah,
and it's
the
just
crackle
so
really.
funky. Yeah.
Yeah, like I've been using that Agrellan Earth on my NIDs ever since I switched. And I've gone through so much of that stuff because you just sort of slop it on and it just looks brilliant.
Yeah.
And the thicker you slop it on, the better it gets as well. So you can be heavy-handed and crap, and it's going to turn out decent in the long run.
Yeah, the crackle actually looks terrible if you put a thin layer on.
Yeah,
Yes.
I found that out.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Like the whole Citadel technical range is really good. Like from Nurgle's Rot to Rise
like
of
that one.
Rust, the Neolith
Oxidite.
Oxide.
That's my
Yes,
favourite
I
one.
love that one.
Blood effect one.
Blood for the blood god.
Typhus corrosion.
Typhus corrosion. I was trying to remember the name of it. Like
I
all
use
of
the
them
corrosion
so
on my-
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
use the corrosion on my
unreasonably good.
Yes. Yes.
And the
I
blood
was
for the blood
expecting
god.
it to be
like
terrible.
blood.
No,
It looks
I
so
was just
good.
painting blood splatter on to test it on some of my Necromunda training, and I was like, "Holy shit, that's really cool!"
Yeah.
And
So
then
now
I
this
found
whole
it.
model's painted, did it? Yeah.
It's
gone all Carey.
I don't know if I'm saying it right. Vallejo, or what they now
Vallejo?
do, I found out a texture paint as well.
Texture paint with a big pot. Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to grab one of those because I've seen a few people talk about it and compare it to the Sterling muds and stuff like that. And it's meant to be more cost effective because it's a bigger pot.
Like, as in like bigger than the big texture pots.
Correct.
As in like
how
a
big is a
jar
big
of
pot?
vitamins.
Yeah, like a jar of
wow.
vitamin size. Yeah.
It's
For,
massive.
I think, it was showing US prices. I think it was $1 less.
So I'm looking at it now for a white one for 200 mils. You're looking $20 in Australia.
Oh, so that's
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, I've put that down on my list to try out because I am now at the stage I want to try different paints.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to challenge myself that next step. I've got a pretty consistent painting style with what I use. I'm still learning airbrushing, but I want to try the different paints and watch other streamers and what their paints they use and ask about the inks that they use and how they use that. It looks beautiful. It's so
the
simple.
inking.
Oh my god. But then there's another streamer I watch and he doesn't use anything but the contrast paints, and what he comes out with is just mind-blowing what it is. It's just amazing.
And contrast is another one I wanted to mention. It's just like, once I learned how to use that shit, oh my god, it is actually really friggin' good.
Yeah, so
It is.
I mentioned our friend last episode, the Joker, who painted 1,500 points of Imperial Fist within 30 hours, contrast paints only, and they look brilliant. So yeah, it can be a speed tool. I use a mixture, like you'll
I'm
see
using
some of my
Gene
latest.
Stealers.
Yeah.
So I'm sold.
Yeah, a few of my miniatures now have a mixture of, what do you call them? Contrast and
Regular.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic. I think they call it.
Firstborn.
Classic.
No, hang on.
All my pinks are the pink contrast. It's just so much easier, with a bit of classic gold just for the trim. But yeah, it's all purple. For horde armies, contrast is the way to go.
Oh my god, yes.
It's really good.
I'll step into AOS for a second, then Nighthawk. And some of those guys have got horde capability, and it's just like push, step, push. I knocked 40 Nighthawk off in about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And so the only thing that slowed me down was I ran out of blue tack to stick them onto things so I can make my production line.
So with paint, you need brushes. Controversy.
Oh.
Dun 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 dun.
Yeah, I want to hear what everyone says before I say my thoughts on brushes.
Sure. My go-to brush has been the Army Painter brushes.
Yeah, same. I started with the Citadel ones, and they're garbage. And yeah,
Have you
switching
tried
over.
the new ones?
No, I haven't tried the
Then
new
you
ones.
take that garbage out of your mouth.
Yeah, the new ones are actually. I
They are
really like
better.
the synthetic
They've-
ones.
The
they've
new,
improved
new
them,
white
have they?
ones.
Yeah, the
Yeah, the
improved
synthetic
ones.
ones are just really good.
Are the white ones supposed to be better than the black ones? Because they're cheaper, aren't they? I thought
know
they
there
were
were white
supposed.
I don't
brushes.
know. So they do have a range. They've got the basing brush, dry brushes, and so on. I picked up the stock standard
the-
one, your base one that you normally
Your
use.
starter
good size.
brush, yeah.
And I also picked up an Army Painter of the same volume, same type. The Army Painter did not last very long. I'm still using the Warhammer, the Citadel one. I'm really quite impressed with it.
I've got about
one of
three
the,
of the
one of the
synthetic
new
ones, and they're
synthetics.
fantastic.
Yeah, new synthetic. Yeah,
I've
I'd
got
roll
three of
over,
them.
but
I've
there's
got
a
some
table in
really
the way.
fine points, and they're just staying there. It's really good.
Yeah,
I've been using Army Painter, and I've never actually had to change one. I bought one thinking that I needed to change it.
yeah.
Got the new one, and then realised, oh, well, it's basically the same as the one I've been using. So now I've got a spare one sitting around.
Yeah.
Yeah. But one thing on brushes that I would really impress upon people is don't throw out your brushes when they get manky and everything like that.
Correct.
A dry brushing brush is the best thing you'll ever have. It is the laziest, best painting technique there is.
Yeah.
I'll turn dodgy old ones into texture brushes.
If you hate painting, dry brushing is godsend.
Dry brush and contrast can't go wrong.
I'm a big fan of dry brushing, and I do a lot. Blood Angels, Grey Knights, everything gets dry brushed.
Yeah.
I buy a specific dry brush to use, and the Army Painter ones I found for miniature size that the smaller one is really good.
Yep.
The Citadel one clogs up pretty quickly, and it's hard to clean. But yeah, the Army Painter one's great. It's just a little bit longer, and it just gets
This
into
one here.
that one there. So yeah, I use that a lot.
I got a Army Painter dry brush set, 3 of them, and they're like little round ones, and they're really soft tip for dry brush.
Yeah.
I really like them.
Yeah. But I use both Citadel and Army Painter, and I've also got some. I think there might be Tamir ones. I'm not sure. They're from the hobby shop out at Toys R Us, whatever they are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Toy World Pacific.
Yeah.
I experiment.
But they were cheaper, but they last pretty well.
Yeah,
So here's where I drop in my opinion. I use brushes from the local $2 store just down the road.
There you go.
And I have never had a brush clog.
So
I've never had an issue with them.
and that's, I think my next point is, especially for newcomers, there are paintbrushes out there that some commission painters, which is a different style of painting again, okay, just put that out there, will be using the Opus 7s, they're called?
I've been
Broken
looking up
Toads?
the Opus 7s.
Broken Toads, Opus 7. There's a third one I can't remember, but they are, how much per brush? $40 to $60 per brush?
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
No, you don't need to spend that to get a good result.
No.
Yeah,
I don't
like
think
I started using $2 brushes from cheap shops, but like I've mostly been using Citadel for like most of my career as a modeler, and occasionally some Army Painter ones. I haven't noticed much difference between the two of them, other than that I break Citadel brushes a lot. I haven't had that problem with any other brand. Matt, the guy from the local store, and he's convinced I'm doing something weird with the brushes because I break them so often.
Painting
And I'm
with
like,
your
I don't
toes.
know what to tell you, man.
No, I had big
I paint
problems with
hard.
Citadel brushes in exactly the same way. Like I wouldn't snap the handle on it, but it'd wind up going bald on me.
I know. I've like broken the ferrules and bent the ferrules on a bunch of them, and I'm like, I've never done that to a brand that isn't those black Citadel ones. The new synthetic ones, not a problem. I actually haven't had one of the recent ones do it either, so I'm convinced maybe it was just a batch issue.
I also
Yeah,
do
well,
find.
that's-
Sorry, I also do find the Citadel ones really taste nice in coffee.
Haven't
So
done it
there you
yet.
go. That's the Citadel one. That's the new one, the Shade M.
Yeah, the synthetics.
Yes, so that's the new one, and the comparison is the base. Well, it's called Monster Brush, but not quite it. And I got these from a Quickstone Ghost brushes. They're my favourite brushes ever. Can't get them anymore, but yeah, they just so well. But yeah, they're good. Try the new ones. If you haven't tried the new ones and you bagged out Citadel ones, it's worth trying them. My only grief to them is where they're fat for the holding. It's a bit higher to where I would hold it, but that's just me.
And for me, if you feel you don't need to spend the money on those ones and you can find brushes of the size that you want, there's nothing wrong with a cheaper alternative. The brand that I use is I'm going to mongrel this because it's French and I can't give a shit. Montmartre, and they're found in all the $2 stores, and they're actually a reputable brand that's also found in art stores. So they work for me.
Yeah. And I think that's the big key. Find the brush that works for you. If it's the broken toad that works for you and you feel more confident with it, go for it. There's no wrong answer here, apart from using basically a house brush or a roller. Yeah. But there's no wrong answer.
Dip
Find what
models
works
into
for you.
paint pots, people.
That's how I do pinks.
Keep your tip. That's it. If you rinse them out always. If you want to go that extra step, get a paint brush cleaner, which is just usually a little tub. You just rush the brush in, put soap in, so it's a brush soap. That's
Hand wash is really good for cleaning your brushes. We're all washing our hands with those alcohol stuff. My daughter put me onto it. She's an amazing artist, and she does lots of painting. And she said, "I clean all my brushes with hand
sanitizer.
Hand sanitizer.
And
get right in there and work it out, and you work the point back into them and stuff like that. It works really well."
That's actually a really good tip. I'm going to steal that.
and I've had people tell me if you've really mongoloided a natural hairbrush, chuck it in some shampooed water.
Yeah.
It helps clean it up and get it straight again.
Just
My
not
only-
hot water.
No, it's got to be cold, and you've really got to get it, not a strong mix. It's just got to be enough that it'll actually help the hair straighten back out.
Yeah, so the big tip, don't use hot water because it does separate the glue.
My only concern with those kind of cleaners and stuff is I really don't miss when I had to use Metho to clean my enamel paints. So I don't know what I'd do if I couldn't stick the brush in my mouth. That's how I get the point.
Did you ever use lead paint while you're there, Mike? To get that nice and sharp on the tip.
Speaking of tips,
I didn't used to repoint them with my tongue back when I used enamels and stuff.
just between the teeth. One tip I got from Adam was with the airbrushes, window cleaner to clean out your airbrush.
Yep.
Oh my god,
Windex.
it's a dream. Windex. Window cleaner. We don't have to use a brand unless they start paying us.
We've got it all around the house, and it's just
That's
fantastic.
amazing. It just went I spent money on the bloody cleaner, which
I've
is
got
a
a
lot, and this works. Oh my god, this works brilliant. So just a little tip.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so brushes, paint, pretty obvious we need those.
Yeah.
Do we go and spend all the money to buy Citadel plastic glue?
I get the Revell one.
I get, I don't know which one mine is.
I get whatever shop I'm in, I'll buy whatever glue's there.
Yeah, mine's the blue one, which you shove a bit of metal
one.
down the top of the cloth. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
And a little tip I'll give to anyone: there's so many times those little bastards get clogged. You know the bread ties, which is plastic overlaid a piece of metal.
Yeah.
Use the lighter, burn off the plastic. Slip it, put a little kink at the end, so you got maybe 1/4 kinked out, straight down the pipe. You climb pipe.
No. Mark, what you need to do is you need to get your cigarette lighter.
Yep.
And just hold it on the end.
Oh,
and
You can
it'll
just
burn
put
it out.
You can just put a lighter.
did
We're
that
not
once.
smoking.
Light
here.
up.
I did that
Just get
once,
a
and the
quickie
fire went
lighter
down
and
the
just
pipe.
go
Yeah, well, that's what it's supposed to
goes through
do.
the pipe.
No, it
It doesn't
exploded on me, the
fire.
whole thing.
Oh, Jesus, really?
Yeah, the fire went into it and exploded.
Wow,
Nice.
I've had to do that a bunch of times and never exploded.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I've never had an explosion.
it caught. I heard a little hissing noise, and next thing you know, I had hot burning fire glue all over my hands and arms.
But did
So
you
I don't-
glue the model together?
No, unfortunately, I'd already done it by that stage, and it just made it even worse. So yeah,
The
Oh,
other
I
piece
just-
of advice I've often heard is take the metal bit out before doing it. So I guess we should give that advice.
I just want to point. Let's just give it advice with the droppers, and if it's clogged and you're trying to squeeze it, don't squeeze too hard and just try and force it out because it will go.
I learned that.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a stream of me with the white just go in midstream.
My exclamation heard 3 rooms where I was, fuck me with a toaster. So there you go.
Alright, so yeah, I think
I don't
with
know.
especially the
I'm
super
insane.
glue, especially the little tiny super glues you get from Citadel, they dry out real quick.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Just get some super glue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But yeah,
Get one of the ones where you can do a controlled drop, where you know, you little push on the sides. Otherwise, you just get a dollop of glue, and then you got things stuck to you and stuck to the model, and it's a right
Another
old pain in
tip.
the ass.
Another tip for your super glue is chuck it in a Ziploc bag and keep it in your fridge.
Yes.
yeah, I've
That
heard
will
this.
keep
Yeah.
it. That will keep it from going solid and all of that.
Yeah, so don't keep it in the shed where it gets over 30 degrees.
And don't sniff it too much because you'll run out.
And they're only small, so it'll go straight up. Anyway,
And maybe
we do
don't
not
do
encourage that.
'cause,
This
other
is an
tip
R-rated
I
flow.
could
Do
give,
not do that.
with the polystyrene cement glue, the use in a ventilated area, that is a very good recommendation. I built an entire armored guard army in this room with no fans, and I burned my lungs.
Were you
I
seeing
had
the Emperor by the
lungs
end?
for
Right.
6 months.
So, yes. Be careful with your glue.
Yeah.
All right. Clippers, hobby knives. What else we need?
Yep.
Clippers.
I really like
a
clippers.
Clippers. I use some random wire cutters that I bought from like J-Car.
I got mine from Toy World. I use a hobby knife from Kmart.
Yeah.
My hobby knife is actually just a Stanley knife I got from Bunnings, and that thing's awesome.
I
it
mean,
was
let
like
me.
$6
mine.
or
Yeah,
something.
little scalpel type one.
Yeah, little scalpel.
Yeah.
I've got replaceable blades. It's easy to control. It doesn't have a big bendy ones like these fuckers do. They get bendy as you go out. This is just a more controllable blade.
Let me dust off my shield badge. Yeah, I actually really love the new GW Clippers they've made, like the skeletal ones. They've got a really nice snapback. They're way more like it was way easier and cleaner in my experience than any of the army painter or the random ones that I've
blue
picked up.
handle ones?
Are they the big? Are they the big ones?
Where are they? No,
Or the
these
bigger
ones. The red ones that are kind of
Yes.
skeletal.
Oh wow, okay.
Because they've got this really nice like spring back to them, and they cut really clean.
Okay.
Yeah, they do.
Really
I've got
like
a pair of
them.
those.
Well,
They're
somehow
brilliant.
I've got 3 clippers. You don't need 3 clippers.
This is a G-Dub one that came with the school kit
Oh,
that I've got.
I just saw that one.
Yeah.
I've got 4 clippers.
this
You
one's-
don't need 4 clippers.
That's why I specified the new GW
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
they sell.
These ones
Now-
are shit.
Yeah,
Absolute
those are just terrible starter ones.
I've got it on close at the moment, and there's around about a 3 mil gap between both clips. So yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
other thing I've noticed, right? These ones, they don't shoot models across the room.
No.
Oh, where's the fun in that?
Fire things across the room when you cut it out. These just don't. They just snip really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went
Like,
looking for a
just
head the
blown
other
away
day.
So-
by them, 'cause-
You
I got
can.
a set of Japanese wire cutters, and
Yeah.
does
If
the
you
same.
are new to the hobby, you don't need clippers. You'll need a knife. But
Well, I
clippers
would
are probably one
recommend
directed
clippers.
clippers because it's a
Yeah,
nice,
yeah.
clean.
Clippers are handy.
Yeah. So
like,
it is
I
clean.
started using a knife and no clippers, and buy clippers.
I started out with the scalpel. I went to clippers.
I
Yeah.
built a lot of model tanks and model planes before moving to 40k stuff, and
Yeah.
I never had clippers for that. And
Great way
yeah,
to take chunks out of your
knife-
fingers and lose
no,
pieces.
no, it
got
damages the model. You break.
You got the
it.
super glue there to seal the wound up really easily.
But no, like really fine stuff you can clip off and you can trim off later on.
Yeah.
But the trying to cut the smaller things with a knife, you'll end up breaking them
Gouging it.
because
Yeah.
you've still got it's joined on in multiple places, and you push down and you break a bit of it in half, and you get shitty and you throw it across the room, and
Yeah.
because it's like the pivotal part of the bottle that everyone will see that's broken. Sorry, I'm passionate.
Yeah, even a cheap shitty.
Just waiting for you to start fall into tears, a bit of memory, it's brought up.
Yeah,
You weren't
Yeah.
there, man. You weren't there.
there's a Model A10 that has a big gouge out of one of the engines.
Battle
Battle
Worn,
damage.
Battle Worn. Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
still upsets me.
Which one of you suckers has got a Citadel water pot?
I've got Citadel
Yeah.
everything.
You actually
Well,
bought.
I was going to leave that for the big surprise. What I'm just really impressed with, because there's 2 things from Citadel that I have been impressed with that I thought, why would I buy this? I bought it. Holy crap. These are actually bloody awesome. The water pot is one of them.
Yeah, I've got one of those as
I
well.
love it. It's so easy to clean brushes with the bottom at the ridges at the bottom. Keep
the new
fun.
water pot with the grooves in it and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
I
Yeah,
love
that
it.
thing's actually surprisingly good.
It is surprisingly good.
I've got a Mark one.
So
how
much did this item set you back?
apart from your soul?
Yeah. I
wasn't using that.
No. That's why I brought my son. Can you take children's souls?
So would you say like I get that you
I would
like
say
the item?
It
Would
is
you
worth
say that it
every penny I
represents
spent
value?
on it. I would say it's worth every penny I spent on it.
Well, how many pennies did we spend on it? Because I
I
don't.
can't
look at those
remember at
things.
the moment. Anyone on the stream
Yeah.
remember how much that is? But because I've gone from using a jar, from a cup and stuff like this, and I was going, nah, this is going to be pointless. But I went, all right, you know what? I'll give it a go, and I don't regret it at all. It's just an awesome. I know it's just a water pot. It makes no sense, but it is
$15 for the
$15.
Citadel water pot.
Yeah. It's got the ridges to clean out the brush. It's got the little funnels to straighten out your point, to keep your point, and even a resting place, which is good because I usually end up putting them in my mouth to rest instead. So it's actually, I could do that instead.
My only criticism of it is because of the way they've given it a flared base so it doesn't fall over, it doesn't fit in the water pot holes in my Citadel painting station.
Oh.
My
That's no
old
problem.
Citadel water pots do.
Yeah. So that is my
I've got a hole
surprise.
saw you can borrow.
I started out with a Play-Doh pot, those little yellow.
Oh,
ones
yeah,
about
yeah,
that
yeah.
big. That's what I started with. I now just use a Mark one, which has got something similar. It's got like a graded mesh underneath the waterline, so you
Yep.
just brush like that. The paint comes
Okay.
off so easily.
Yeah.
I've got a part so I had to repair it. This bit goes up top, so it plugs in like that, and you hold the brushes in there, so point down, so the drip's into there, so no mess.
I have a little teacup that I use for mine.
Yeah.
You can see that it's
It
red.
looks like you've been drinking
Terrible.
tomato
How many
sauce.
times you
It's
drunk
good,
it?
mate. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I
I've been
have-
painting red Tyranids. I mean, come on.
I have the good old
Horrifyingly-
army green one, which is a plastic coffee cup, which I got issued
Horrifyingly,
about 20
I
years ago.
started out with a little fucking Vegemite glass, and I've still
wow.
got it. I found it. I haven't used this thing in like 20 years.
It looks like
Why
you
is
need
it
to put some meso in it. It's a bit.
Like
Oh,
it's clear glass. Like it's
Yeah,
also
yeah.
army
It does look
green.
like there's
lol.
still Vegemite in there.
Brilliant.
I use a
There's a
blood
lot of
angel
dust
mug.
in there. Holy
Yeah.
shit!
No, as I said, I'm surprised by how good the water pot is. I was very skeptical. Still gave them my money. But yeah, I think it was worth the pennies I paid for it.
No,
Yeah,
can't do it.
same, eh?
It's surprising good. Yeah. But if you got one that's got the ridges, and that's the bit I love, is the ridges to clean that pot
Yeah.
out. Yeah. And then use the ridges on the side to keep that point on the brush. Just works out well.
Very clever.
The other surprise purchase I bought was the stick.
How good is the stick?
Gee,
Oh my god, the
good.
stick
Spray
is so
stick?
the spray
Yeah.
stick.
Spray stick's
I used the
incredible.
top off a 4-litre tub, and I blue tack things on.
Yes, that's how I used to do. Put it on a piece of wood or on a piece of cardboard and blue tack. But now
Yeah.
the stick. Mark
Show me
looks
the
very
stick.
confused.
You spray underneath,
Yeah,
you get
the
all
stick.
around it. Oh, it's
Show me the
unreal.
stick. I'm absolutely no fucking
Okay,
clue what you're
because
talking
because
about.
when I spray,
It's
it is glove and hand and spray.
They
The
can do
stick.
like-
This is the stick.
All right.
You can do 10 Tyranids at a time on that, I reckon.
Yeah,
easily.
so it is just a piece of plastic. Look, it looks exciting, and rubber bands. But you put in, like I've got here for 3 models at the moment, but you can put in the bikes, everything I've got in paint goes in here, and then it's going to be great for the podcast. It goes in here.
Yeah.
For those listening at home, it is the GW spraying stick that can
Correct.
be found on the GW website.
It's
correct.
no longer available.
It looks like a
according to
stingray spine.
Yeah.
So it's got the
It's just
handle.
really-
So it's just so handy because you're spraying front, back, around, upside down, and they don't fall out. There's no risk of blue tack failing.
Never seen that.
Again,
Yeah,
it's one of those products I'm going, all right, I'll give it a bash. If I don't like it, I have a podcast. You've been warned. But
Yeah, I used to use a Pringles tin,
Oh, yeah.
and blue tack them on. But the number of times I had models fall off it,
Yeah.
or because it's the thickness of the can, you can't get a good angle under it. But with that thing, it's like, yeah, I can get under it. That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't do this at the time, and I wish I had. Yet again, old mate from the local GW was like, oh, just if you buy 2 of them, you'll have 2 handles. You can put a handle on either end, so you can swap ends
I've
while you're
heard that,
spraying
yeah.
really easily. And I was like, that sounds like a terrible idea. I'm not doing that, but I wish I had actually.
because then you get to that, holding this out here, spraying your arm. Yeah.
Yeah, and instead I just fucking try and turn it around and get spray all over my arm.
That's
like,
it.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, and so that's 2 things from. There you go. Have some of that. 2 things
I'm
from
looking at it
GW
online.
that surprised me. There is a third item that they sell that I do have, and I'm actually not upset I have it. Is the mold remover, the little scrapey thing.
Yeah, to get rid of the mold lines.
Yeah.
I was actually eyeing that off because I've just been using like my hobby knife to
Yeah, and
to
that's what I
kill
normally
those.
do, or a file to try and clean it up.
Yeah, and I wound up scratching the model, and then I have to like prime it weird and all sorts of stuff like that. So it's just like there's got to be a better way of doing this.
Yeah,
I've
so
got the
I was
same,
in.
and it's really good.
I was in the GW store with my kids, and they're hobbing away and stuff like that, and they got new miniatures out. And of course, Matt gives me, just clean it up with this, and gave me the hobby, their GW mold remover.
Yeah.
Where have I been in my life? This is amazing. Yeah, because that one I definitely thought was a complete waste of money. But oh my god, I bought one and it's used. It's good.
Nah, I'll be right.
Yeah. So yeah. Actually, the
You
new
wanna-
models don't seem to have that sort of mold issues. Mold. That sounds.
I was going to say, if you want like a dumb one that you look at and you think that's fucking stupid, I don't want that. The texture brush they have, it's basically got
little
like
shovel?
a little like spackle ends on it.
Yeah.
Because I actually bought one of the GW hobby kits that they sold, like the ones that roll up in the freaking.
It's got like 5 things in it.
Yeah, well, no, like back when they used to have like a fold out Velcro pouch that had every single hobby tool they had. So I've got like Citadel brand green stuff sculpting tools and like the texture brushes and all that stuff. And that little texture brush is really cool because it's so handy for the texture paint. Like it's just really just scooping it out.
That was going to be my thing that I thought I would never buy. And I did once I started playing because I was using a paddle pop stick or the end of a broken brush, and it's like, all right, I'll pop in and pay for it. And the 2 ends, I'm going, I don't need 2 ends. I can do this with the thick. Fuck that shit. The pointy end is good for the pointy up close parts of the leg. The big end's good for scooping it out.
Yeah, I use old brushes.
That's what I've been doing, and honestly, I've been considering upgrading because I do find it a bit on the messy side when you start getting around feet and that. And I've been covering it by going, well, they're in the mud, they're fighting.
Yeah,
so...
and that's what I used to go.
That's my theory too.
No, it is my surprise tool that I thought would. Yeah, this is a joke. You don't need to do this. You can use anything. My God, it makes it easier.
Yeah, and yet again, it's like $14.
I got mine for free.
Yeah, mine was in the kit, so I haven't bought one manually. I had to sign up to look up the price of the water pot.
So GW do. Sorry, go Mark.
Oh, I was just gonna move things along, but if you've got more stuff to.
No, I was trying to move things along too, but if you want to move it along first, mate.
I was gonna say some of the things for actually playing the game. What tools have you got for that kind of thing?
Sure.
One that comes to mind for me is my laser line of sight checker, which I'm not sure what brand it is. They just had it at the hobby shop, and I picked it up for like $12.
Yeah.
And it's really good for checking line of sight, but it's also really good for pissing off other people if you handle it wrong. There's been a couple of times where I've accidentally gone and shot another table with that, and I've gotten some greasies.
Oh, that's funny.
I I was going to say one last hobby tool as a surprise tool. Those frickin' painting handles.
They're great. Love them.
Oh my god! Of course, how did we not do that?
Yeah.
Like I was forever like, that's dumb. Why would I
Yes.
use that?
Yes.
I don't need. Like, I got fingers. I hold the base. Like that.
Yep.
That's how I've always done it.
Blue tack
And I
on a
got one
paint
for-
pot. Yeah.
I never did. I didn't even do blue tack on a paint
Oh, I
pot.
did
I was
that,
just like,
yeah.
I can just hold the base. I don't need that shit. And like when I got the Conquest thing, I got one of the painting handles for free.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, okay, I'll use it. And I was like, man, this is actually really fucking handy.
Yeah. Yeah. I bought one. Really liked it. I now have 5.
Yeah, I've got 3 of them now. Yeah.
I like the original ones more, the hexagonal handle
Yep.
ones. The new ones are rounded
Oh, okay.
and they're quite skinny at the top. They're too small for my hand. I've got one of them.
I like both, but yeah, they're weird.
So there are a lot of painting handles out there. We're not selling our souls to JW completely. There are other ones out there.
We're pretty close.
Yeah,
I
they're pretty
use
close.
laser cut MDF.
There is one that
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with. I'd love to get my hands on. Lasshammer, if you look her up on Twitch and Instagram, what she uses, it's beautiful. It's almost like a ball bearing on top. So you do need a magnet on the bottom or the base of the miniature, but it can move, and so you've got some mobility, so you can angle it differently. But your hand doesn't have to move, so you're not having to do this to try and get something. You can move to get different angles. I'm like, that's actually quite good. Instead of me doing this, and my thumb's in the way, it's just the model's moved. So there are some really good ones out there, and if you're person who likes to hold their finger in a certain weird position when you're painting, there are some ones with their finger, where your finger sits
Like
on top.
Finger guard on the top.
Finger guard
I've
at
seen
top.
those.
So there are a lot out there. The GW one, I bought 5 for that production line.
That's my only criticism of it. It really stops me from doing like mass production because I don't want to buy 10 of them to do a whole squad.
Yeah.
You know?
Paint 5 at a time, mate.
On the plus side, it forces me to finish the 3 that I'm painting before moving on.
See, I've got the ones from the Battlefield Accessories website where I've bought the pop together scenery, where it's just about that big. Yes, you need blue tack underneath it, but you can get to it at all angles. You can pick it up and you don't get the paint on your fingers. For me, that works. And those who know me know I've got some issues with nerves and holding and things like that comfortably. For me, it works perfectly because it's got a larger base down the bottom. So I don't need the G-Dub one. This one works fine.
Yeah, just the idea of painting handles. I've spent so long poo-pooing it, and then I tried it because I got one for free and was like, oh shit, what have I been doing all my life?
Yeah.
I guess on painting as well, I can highly recommend getting painting racks that hold all your paints, how you can visually see them.
Yeah.
For years, I just had them in drawers, would right on top of them to try and find out what they were.
Enormous GW shill. If you buy the whole painting set, you get that.
But yeah, I got some miniature scenery ones. A few years ago, I just bought one of them, and I ended up buying enough to hold about 100 paints now. I love them. They fit everything in.
Until you buy more paints. I got 3, and it's too many. It's not enough.
I've got 2 for 80.
See, my paint holder, you can actually kind of see over my shoulder there. It's a box for a predator.
There you go.
Holds lots of paints. And you get a predator with it.
I actually bought the Citadel craft box, the big one that had the stand for the paint and the slides.
Yep.
I actually love that. It actually, when I travel, clips in, bang. It's really good.
Yeah, you can see the MDF ones of mine at the back there.
Yes, they can, podcast listeners.
Yeah, they're really beautiful cam pots. So you can see all the finished MDF lasering, and it's so beautiful. Yeah,
all the colors of the bow, man.
It does
works for me.
As Anthony said, it does make sense. If you can see the colors, it will help you a lot better than trying to look at the tops and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I like about the Citadel one. I mean, it's not expandable though, because they brought out new paints, and this doesn't have room for the new paints. But this, we got all the colors on it, so you can see which one, which is quite handy.
That's cool.
Yeah, it wouldn't be any good for me because it wouldn't be in any type of arrangement. Day one, it would all be
at the start of every
be everywhere.
Yeah, at the start of every hobby night, so Tuesday, Thursdays. Hams fan, welcome, mate. Big. G'day, mate. How you going? Thank you very much for the subscription. I do appreciate that so much. That is awesome. How's lunch? How's your lunch going? What was I saying? Paints. Oh yeah, I start nice and neat, so all my paints are in order, all my blues and my reds and stuff. By the end of the hobby night, oh shit, where are my paints? There's an often call. You alright, Fleers? You can stop looking, I found it.
And never underestimate a good light. Good
Yeah.
set of
Thank
lights.
you.
What I was going to suggest.
Okay.
Yes, lamp.
You
I've
can
got
see
it.
mine on mine. I bought one for me that works
Nice.
really well. It's got the LED circle, so it gives everything that good view. But for the old fart, because I can't paint with my glasses on, it allows me to have the magnifying lens.
Okay.
So I can
Yeah.
actually have a look, and
I
they've got
was-
the concentrated circle as well, where I can get it even further.
What are they
Yeah,
like?
they're cool.
I've got one of
Yeah.
these bendy ones,
Like-
and
Yep.
it's got a clamp to
Yeah.
clamp to your desk, and brilliant thing.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
LED lights is the big key part,
Yeah.
not just normal
Yeah.
bulbs. Normal bulbs will be better than normal light.
Well, just because it's LED doesn't mean it won't heat your room. This gets hot.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Sure,
But
it's not a
I
heater.
actually found This has
It's a heater and LED lamp.
Oh, nice and
It's
winter.
multi-purpose.
Baked potato and beans day. Ooh, nice.
But yeah, like the it's got like a light on it.
Yep.
So
I've seen people
And-
use it. I know.
and a magnet, I can actually take that out and put different magnifications in. So
Oh,
it's
So you've
So
actually
tempted
got
to
like a
get something like
jeweler's
that.
headset.
yeah, because they were being advertised at me on Facebook, and I was like, yeah, I'll buy that.
Yeah,
I
I've
actually
always
got two, one for my wife so she can do crafting with hers, and I can do painting with mine.
I almost
might
bought
just
one.
Fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
And
intrigued.
now
I
it's
wanted to
one. I
know
wasn't
what
sure.
it's like because I know one of the mates, Buddy Minis, he uses one when he's painting and stuff, and his paint is pretty damn impressive. So, is it because of those glasses, or is he better than me?
I find that it's like, especially with the little lamp on it, it's really handy because then I have a light source from where my eyes are.
Yeah.
So it
And you
makes it
can't block
easier
it.
to. It makes you can't block it. You can get under things more easily because you're not going with the lamp going oh.
Yeah.
You know.
Worth
But
a
yeah.
try.
Yeah, interesting. But at least get. Hang on, Ham's fan bought one of those headsets too. Found it good. There you go.
Yep.
There you go. So I'm intrigued because more intrigued because I have to wear glasses and want to look at things close up. So I just think with those lenses, how would that work?
Well, it's if you look at it, there's a gap,
Yeah.
right? So it's like this is on the bridge of your nose, and this
Yeah.
is sitting further away from you.
So you're saying I can
And you
still
can
wear my
just tilt it
glasses,
to put wherever. Probably.
and people can start calling me 6 eyes instead of 4 eyes.
Yeah. Like it sits kind of further forward on your
Yeah.
nose. It's not all the way back,
Okay,
and also because it's like up here.
interesting.
So I mean, it might get in the way of the glasses, but yeah, it's really handy.
Can you
Oh,
put
I'm
the
sure
glasses all the
someone
way out
makes
of the way?
one.
Hans Spam's just saying it's not the glasses, my painting is still weak. So basically, you just told me that Buddy Mini's just better than me. Thanks, Ham Spam.
Like, can you flip the glasses all the way out of the way?
Yeah, like it flips all the way up and
it
all the
doesn't
way
get
down.
they don't get in the way of the light when they're out of the way, or
No, like when they're up there, the light's still shining over, and you
Oh,
can flip
okay.
all the way in too. Because
Yes.
sometimes, and also they just clip out.
even better. 'Cause
So-
unlike blindy locks, I don't need the glasses for inside in close.
Even like that's
Yeah,
a zero magnification, and I still find that helps.
Cool.
So like it comes with a bunch of different magnification levels.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen them at Spotlight, and I thought, oh, is it worth the $20? Is it? Oh, and now it might be worth it.
Yeah,
But you won't spend $14 on a water pot. Come on.
You got a light and a magnifier and everything.
This holds
Just
water.
A cup. It's not just a
Bloody
cup.
I have
Alright.
to say that getting reading glasses saved my painting of miniatures because I couldn't see the.
No, it didn't save my painting. It got me frustrated with my painting because I saw old models and went, oh, look at all this. Oh, no, don't do that. Never look at your old models. Yeah.
I couldn't see the paintbrush. I was like, no, I do need glasses there.
It is fun. So, okay, so we've covered the hobby. Basically, if you're a beginner, start with the Citadel paints, start with the Citadel brushes. We'll keep you going. If you can find some alternative for brushes, Army Paint is a good one. Apparently $2 shops are also good. Just making
like
sure that the point is neat.
Yeah.
That's the biggest part.
We've
Don't use
forgotten
hot
one very important thing for actually playing the game.
We're about to talk about that, the game
Good.
itself.
I'm
But I was
gonna
trying to
make
cover
sure.
the hobby part because I keep going
Oh,
back
fuck
to it.
hobby. Boring now.
Right, so the game part. All right, you need to bring tools to each game. So we're talking about the must-haves on game day. What you must have. Go ahead.
Tape measure.
Tape measure.
Tape measure.
Your own
Don't buy
fucking
the
dice.
GW one.
Dice.
I'm living proof.
Dice.
Don't buy the GW tape measure. It's garbage. Go to the hardware store and just buy a Imperial/metric
Go to
one.
Bunnings and get a $4 Bunnings brand.
$4 Bunnings fucking tape measure.
Yep.
Yeah, mine's over there
But
somewhere.
I did it. It was cool, but it was way too expensive for what I got.
Yeah,
I think
probably.
also the limitations here in Australia, we don't use inches.
Yeah, I cannot use that tape measure for anything other than Warhammer.
Yeah. That's fine. You love Warhammer.
But
So-
I mean, some of the other non-GW ones are pretty good, like in terms of cost to utility, because like they have a much smoother slide and they don't break as easily. And,
Yeah, because they're
you know.
built for building sites and stuff. So
But like, I mean the gaming ones. There are some
Yeah.
gaming ones that feel a lot better than the cheap builders ones.
I do
Yeah.
have an army painter one, and I like it. It's good. The reason I bought it because I went to a game day. I forgot my tape measure. Shit. I'm going
I
to buy
haven't-
one.
I have an
Cool.
army painter one because I went down to Jolt and I got out my GW one, measured something, let go, and the end snapped off as it went close.
I've heard of that happening to other people. You're not alone.
the other one that trick the GW one likes to do is the release lock just doesn't work,
Stops working. Yeah.
and
Awesome.
then you
I-
have
We've
I
had.
buy one every
shenanigans.
time I go to Jolt. Nearly every time I have a game there, I buy a new tape measure.
There's a Bunnings up the road, dude. What are you doing?
Because it's convenience
playing
fee.
the game.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I haven't got
Yeah.
my tape measure. But
I
that's
think it's
cool.
important. I think we've had an episode where we talked about this, but it's pretty important to have your own tape measure, your own dice, and your
Yes.
own books.
Books.
Yes.
Even if it's PDF on a tablet, have your books.
or a sheaf of paper you've printed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
it's
dice.
so important. And
Dice.
dice. All right, so
People get
dice.
funny about dice. I'm happy if people use mine, but some people get funny about dice.
Yeah, well, using yours I don't mind because they're loaded.
Yeah, just I know how to load them properly. Doesn't mean I'm going to let you use them from now on.
You can when I say can I borrow your dice?
Sixes
you
for
can not
everybody.
those ones, but these ones.
I'll give you the ones with the bottom of the container, not
Yeah.
the ones on the top. They're good.
Do
He's
have
got
your
an
dice.
Infinity set and he's got a Warhammer
Yeah.
set.
I don't mind lending people my dice, but yeah, it does feel
Yeah.
weird when someone shows up
Yeah.
to a game with no dice.
But
kinda
it's not
weird.
just having dice; it's having enough dice.
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, when I'm playing with Necrons, sometimes I'm throwing down a lot of dice, so I made sure I've got enough. I've seen people turn up with 5 D6s. It's like you're not playing a game of D&D, dude.
They're playing
Not creating a
orcs.
character sheet.
You need more D6s for a game of D&D.
Yeah.
Real man's fireball's going to be way more than 3.
Oh,
yeah.
Way more than 5.
It's not only just for rolling; it's also wound notification. So if you've
Yeah.
got a
Creating
wound on certain
towers when you-
characters and stuff like that,
And-
you need to put down something. So if you don't have a dice for that, you need a token of some sort.
Then I'd also recommend not just 6s. I have in my set 2 D12s, so I can count certain
done.
things.
Well-
I have a couple of 20s or percentile, so I can count the victory points as I'm going along.
Yeah.
Just makes life easier. That way, oh shit, hang on, I got 3 in the last turn. I was 21. Oh, you don't have to worry about adding. It's just all right. Click, click, click.
A
Easy.
pen and paper is probably very important.
Yes.
Yep.
Probably
Because I don't
is.
need to count my points with dice if I've got pen and paper.
Correct. Yeah.
When we can't rely
Yeah,
on Adam to
true.
count, we know that now.
Oh
after the
my God.
weekend.
Just watch yesterday's kill team. Just fast forward to when we got
5
to
minus 11. 5 minus 11.
it's 11
That's-
minus 5 equals 8. That was good.
And it was
Twice.
on my favour.
He did
Twice.
it twice.
Practically straight after each other as well. No, but I did
No wonder
play,
I lost.
Yeah, I did play Gavon Steve, and he had something like an Etch sketch one, and it
Ooh.
was like
Oh.
instead of pen and paper, it was Etch sketch, and it was
Yeah.
it was on Etch sketch, but it was something like that. It was really good. You know?
That's funky.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing the old Etch-a-Sketch trying to do the little knobs.
Do you mean more like a, more like a pad that you could write on it and then blank it?
Yeah.
Not on the Etch-a-Sketch,
Yeah,
but one of those like magnetic blankable
Yes,
slates.
magnetic writing thing, but it was really
Yeah.
good. He had it. It was great.
No, I want to see him do the Etch-a-Sketch just for...
Hey, if you're a ninja with those things, you can do some pretty good stuff.
Yeah, clicker count is useful if you have summoning points to do with. Yes, good point. Or anything that you've got something how to measure those sort of things. You do need something. You can't, and don't rely on the opposition to have a tape measure for you, a rule book for you, and stuff like that. I think it's
one thing I did like, but has become a bit outdated with some of the higher scoring games you can have, is the victory point and command point token, like the trackers that you got with, I think it was like last edition's bloody Unitorium manual or something. Like, there was a set you could buy that had all the campaign things, and it came with with 2 of these clicker things to track your like little dials to track your victory points and command points.
Yeah.
So the thing though is that having the pen and paper as a backup is really useful, because I've had a few games where we've brought that kind of thing and the thing doesn't go up high enough for the points.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's less useful now that the VPs have gone up.
Yeah.
But it's still good for tracking like command points.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
More stuff is good stuff.
Chris and I are recording nearly everything on whiteboards now. So for our games, we have a
I love using the whiteboard. Yeah.
We have I think even having magnetic.
I can make a whiteboard here.
Yeah. So the command points, put your magnetic counters on there for your command points and stuff like that. So you just pull them off each time. But yeah, it was it's. We're also going to stick some of the rules up there as well, so you can actually you don't have to flick through the book to find the rules, and especially things like secondaries, and just have them more clear and easy to find.
That's actually a really good idea. I've got a whiteboard, like a big one for putting on my wall for playing D&D, but that would totally work for Warhammer.
Yeah, we've done it a couple of times with the Baron. He's got a whiteboard at his place, so we put the secondaries up so we can clearly see what's going on with the second. And more importantly, we put on the scenery. So that piece of scenery has these statistics.
Aren't secondaries supposed to be secret from your opponent, though?
We've never played that. But yes.
I've been sure, because I've been like, they're selected secretly. But
selected secretly,
It comes out of deployment. You're supposed to, by deployment.
Oh, you are supposed to tell them in deployment?
After deployment, yeah.
Okay, I couldn't find where it said you were supposed to tell them, and I was like, are we just supposed to... Yeah, it was something that just bugged me about it.
Whereas usually we just, like, when I play Greg, it just goes, let's just put it up there.
What
this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, I need to know to put it up on the stream. That's my excuse.
Kind of where I fell short in the game against Chris with the Harlequins, where I chose the killer character. So he chose the character on top of the hill with the big gun. On a really, 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 really long board, which I was never going to get to. Because we were paying like the full-size board for onslaught. That's just if we'd hidden it at the start, he might have chosen a different character at the start of the game or something like that. But I don't think he would have.
Yeah, which is what I thought was the point of it being hidden, was because some of them are like, these 3 models need to be killed, and then your opponent can just do that shit.
Yeah.
So.
It could be, but because we watched so many battle reports to tell us all at the start, we might have just assumed it. But I'm sure the viewers would tell us if we're meant to tell.
I'll go double check that later.
I'm pretty sure in the mission section it says choose them and then reveal that after deployment.
Yeah, I remember reading something about it.
So to get back off rules lawyering, what about bringing your models in?
Yeah, the carrier, the containers to bring the models in.
Yeah. What are people carrying their stuff in? I mean, I'm using some of those foam things, but since I've switched to Tyranids, my usage has fallen off because those things are huge and they just don't fit in any of the foam trays or anything like that.
Yeah,
Tyranids have got too many pointy things. They get stuck in the foam. The arms get stuck. They fall off.
It's like a barrel of monkeys. That old game.
Yeah, I have 3 different cases, depending what army I have. I got a nice big wooden one for all my tanks to fit in, another bigger one that fits vehicles and infantry, and then another one that just does infantry. That's the constant fight I have as to how do I transport. That's why I tell everyone to come here to play.
I have a lot of the Citadel boxes and stuff like that, but last year for Christmas I bought, and I'm actually looking at the website, it's a Melbourne-born company, and it's Magnature cases. It's like a little metal thing and it stands up, so you just pick it up in a carry case, just walk it in, slide out the trays, bang, on the tables.
Yeah, it's like a hard, solid suitcase, but everything's magnetized in it. So the trays of metal and the miniatures just have a magnet on the bottom of the base.
Yep.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of that sort of stuff advertised. But yeah, I'm hesitant to chuck magnets on the bottom of my Tyranids.
Everything.
Because it's gonna. I'm literally gonna be Magnet Man and buying 5,000 of these things.
Magnet Man.
I was really surprised with these because I went, oh yeah, and demons and all that. I've got to have a lot of them, and I can actually fit almost 3,000 points in this thing. It's actually quite big.
And that's what I was concerned about, the horde type army. How would that fit? 70 poxwalkers. Oh shit, that's half the box. No.
Yeah, because I mean, you've seen how I rock up. I've got 2
Drunk,
boxes
disorderly.
for vehicles that I've filled with big greeblies, and then I've got like a foam case for the small stuff.
Yeah.
So which is kind of strange because I'm protecting the small cheap models, and the big ones can just be like blown with the wind down the street.
I mean, I'd have to brush off my shill badge again. I use mostly GW transport cases, but yeah, it's a problem with some of the bigger vehicles because it's hard to get them in there. I did get that really, really big one they released. A couple of years ago, I think they released it. But I got that for my 30k guys, and that fits like a lot of tanks in the base. And with the new ones, with the foam that isn't like stuck down, you can kind of move the foam sideways. It's got a lot more variation in size, which is really handy. I think most of my NIDs are in one of those boxes. But yeah, they're a lot better than they used to be, the GW ones. But like, for example, my Imperial Guard are in like Gale Force cases, I think they are. I bought them like 18 years ago at CanCon or some shit.
I know before I cared about my Drakari, it was just thrown on a little dinner tray thing. Yeah, fuck it. But I don't have much care.
I've got a whole different stack of these, different sizes, different shapes.
So for the podcast listeners,
it's a big black thing with handles.
That's like a screw organizer from the hardware shop.
Yeah, correct. But I've got ones that are big enough to fit vehicles. So, in concern of my Necrons, I can fit a monolith in one of the ones I've got.
That's big.
Wow, that's
I know. Yeah. But I've got such a wide variety of sizes, shapes that I can temporarily pull stuff out onto my work desk behind me and use that to carry stuff in. So. I've just got so much modular ability that I've never gone with any of the GW stuff because this stuff's just worked for me.
So one of the things I did do with anything that's a flyer, I put magnets on the stands so I can transport them easier instead of gluing them to the top and stuff like that, so I can separate. And that's
I don't glue them.
I don't glue them.
Like for the Hellions and the Jetbucks.
Like the little flyers.
They're little flyers, yeah. So the little stands and the jump packers and stuff like that.
Those frickin' Inceptors of mine, they have never survived a transport to or from a game.
Yeah.
Like those stands, those new flight stands are shit.
Yeah. So Ham's fans made a good point. Make a cheeky cheat sheet for your army is good. Like the AOS reminder is wonderful, familiar. Yeah, and I've been trying to do that lately, especially when it comes to the cards, the tactical cards. Oh my god, how long is it since we played? What are they called? Stratagems.
And psychic powers.
Psychic powers, yeah. I've been, because they're not ideally listed in the book I do make a little note. I need to use this for this unit, and it'll work about this time. So I have about 7 or 8 ones I know I will use this force, and I know when to use them, as opposed to I've got something.
What I found with NIDS was I kind of make a hand of cards that I frequently use.
Yeah.
So when I get to a game, I just turn the cards over, and I've got like the 10 most used stratagems and psychic powers just there, and I just chuck them out on the table so that I go, okay, I know I need to do something. It's that one.
Yeah. So
and
the packs of cards that GW sells are definitely a handy thing to have for your army. So you don't need to reference the friggin' book. You can just get out the stratagem cards you want and have them sitting in front of you.
Failing that, do what Greg does. Write it down on a piece of paper and have it separate so that you can find it.
Yeah, I was about to ask the cards because I've picked up the Thousand Suns, the book, the miniatures, but it did not go the cards this time. Every other arm I have, every arm.
To be honest, you're probably better off doing the whole read through the book and jot them down, because you're gonna buy the cards, and I guarantee you more than half of them will never see the light of day outside that box.
Yeah. I agree.
Because I've gone through cards for Ultramarines, I've gone through cards for Tyranids, and realistically, I maybe use 10 in each pack.
The cards I find them useful for if you're Imperial Guard for orders, so you can put them next to certain units. And the psychic powers, definitely.
They are useful.
Well,
but as I said, I mean, you're going to use very few of them ultimately. So as long as you're okay with that.
Psychic powers are good, but as I found out at Grey Knights, they can reuse psychic powers over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So like Smite, it just goes up by 1 each time. Yeah. So that there isn't enough cards to go across when you're putting Hammerhand on 5 squads of Terminators or something like that. Yeah. So I have made little tokens out of bases for each one, so I know which one's got white at the moment to cover off on that.
You get debuffed. You get debuffed. You get debuffed.
They're all buffed.
Everyone gets debuffed.
That's right.
But wait, there's more.
One thing that needs to be mentioned for those who aren't as familiar as you guys mostly are with your army line, that is a Battle Force editor, like Battle Scribe.
Yeah.
For me, that is an essential tool.
Oh, 100%.
I don't remember that this weapon is this and this is this and this. It is an essential tool for me to work up to the game. Whether I'm like Adam and I have it electronically on my device with me, or I've got my printout that's in my hand 90% of the game, I need that battle roster.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big differences AOS and 40k. AOS has those data cards, and you can't really change. Yep. So I could go rock up with my data cards, put them on the table, and go, right, I know what I'm doing. But it's not as easy with the 40k, and you don't want to. Well, for me, I don't want to be going through the book because, again, they're still not greatly designed. They're getting better. To have that,
in the past, I've actually had a tendency to photocopy the pages in my army and bring a small sheaf of photocopies of the specific unit, so I don't have to keep flicking back and forth in the book.
Yeah.
But my only problem with things like Battle Scribe is I've seen people not understand their own readouts from Battle Scribe because they've never looked in the codex. They've only ever used Battle Scribe, so Battle Scribe has told them they could do something they couldn't. For example,
Battle Scribe,
you
do have to vet whether it's a cheeky little, I've just changed a little word here.
And that's So they do have now Warhammer Plus or the Warhammer Builder to do your army and stuff like that. There's conversations about how good it is. We've had those, but I do think either one of those is much better than trying to add it up in your head, bring it down, written down.
I just use Word Notepad.
I know.
Computer.
I know. It was aimed at you, mate.
It works well for you, and you can do that, and it's good that works for me. But I'll just say you've got to have something, and that's what you've got. I've got Battle Scribe. Other people will use Warhammer Plus. I've just got to have something to help me out.
Yeah, I cheat though. I've got text files with everything I own costed out in copy and pastable segments. So I basically
all I heard is he cheats, and next time I play against him, I automatically win.
So I'll be like, okay, I want that unit in there because they've already got the right gear for them, and occasionally I have to go through and recost everything.
Yeah, and that's how I use Battlescribe too. So okay, here's my units, but every time there's an update, I just got to recost them and make sure it's still legal. Yeah.
And that's my big thing is remembering, oh shit, I've got to have so many of these and so many of these, and I've got to make my leader this one, and what stuff I can put to with things. So it's essential, absolutely essential for me.
Yeah,
it is super handy. Tool that is really handy to have to bring to a game: objective markers.
Yes.
Don't rely on the other person.
Just beer caps.
Yeah, the number of times I've showed up to a game and neither of us have bought an objective marker.
And I win.
I have 2 different sets with my dice.
Warhammer 40k, the quest for objectives.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different groups who do them. I've got multiple sets from various companies. I actually have a GW objective marker set, but I haven't built them.
Some's got some metal ones.
I've got.
Yeah.
I think I've got metal ones. I've got.
You do.
I've got cardboard ones.
I don't trust myself to have fancy ones. I just go beer caps because they're a renewable resource.
There was
true.
a lot of
And
guys.
at the end of the game, it's weird how you got 12 objective markers at the end of it.
A lot of guys I used to play at 3D6 with, they had these plastic, fluoro plastic clip together ones.
Yep.
So they just clipped into a little base, and they were just really, really visible because they were made out of fluoro plastic.
Yeah,
I've seen
they were handy.
lately that are quite big circles.
The big circle just had the radius.
And it shows where you are actually inside the objective as well.
I do like those.
Cool.
Yeah, I want those
That's
too.
funky.
I'm trying to work out how to make them without expense. Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be some available somewhere.
I'm sure. We will sponsor you. No, we will spruik you. That's the word. You sponsor us.
I think potentially another good thing to bring to the game is just an understanding of what your army actually does.
No fucking clue.
Maybe you've just read the rules a little bit beforehand.
What crazy stuff are you talking about?
That's how losers play the game. Just make shit up on the spot and go, I do 3 damage for each hit automatically.
Yeah,
it's a fair point. Yeah. If you've got an army that has a lot of choices of weapons in a unit, maybe start small and maybe have only 1 or 2 choices till you start learning.
Yep.
Even when you learn, just stick to chainsaws and bolt pistols and just play Blood Angels, really.
Yes. What's the best Space Marine army and why salamanders?
Or just play Tyranids. There are no options.
Or Demonettes.
That depends on your edition, though. Knowing your luck, next edition they'll come out with, now you can do biomorphs again, and now they do have too many options.
Yeah. See what
they are starting to go down that route.
Yeah.
I want to sell my Tyranids before the next Tyranids Codex comes out because I'm going to get inspired again.
If anyone's interested in buying a Tyranids army, contact us at.
Hey, Starship Troopers was awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
Starship Troopers was fun. No, it wasn't. I should have won. We should have won.
We won!
Yeah! All right, so let's wrap it up. Okay. Essential tools for the hobbies. Yeah, okay, sorry.
One more thing. When you're playing against people like me who don't remember the rules, don't have the experience of the game, a bit of patience is always nice.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, but that's not a tool I can sell anybody.
Yeah, I know. I'm a very anxious player. I make a lot of mistakes, and because I don't have the history that you guys do, but a patience to be able to understand that your opponent is not always going to be as skilled as yourself.
A conversation.
And you guys are really good at that.
Yeah, a conversation with your player before the game probably helps.
I'm going to admit, the funnest game I've ever had was actually against Anto playing. Was it your demons or your nids? Against my Crods, and it was the first time I'd ever encountered a flyer. And now Anto could have wiped the floor with me earlier than he did, but he didn't. He actually explained. It was my only loss that year, but he actually explained it. He wasn't a real dick about it. He actually worked me through how to understand how to play against flyers, and it was nice because I had no fucking clue. Yeah. So it was really good.
I wish Greg did that.
I remember that game. That was a fun game.
Oh, what?
That was a great game, Anto.
I haven't played you since then. I don't
know. I'm not playing ever again.
And I've never played Michael ever.
Adam just really never played.
No.
Yeah, we have not managed to actually play. We did get lined up a couple of times, and then shit happened, and the games didn't happen.
Fair enough. All right, let's wrap it up. We're almost 2 hours into our.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was
shit.
going to say we should probably wrap up.
Yeah. Okay, so 5 things you need to have for the hobby part of the side of the thing. Quick.
Brush you like.
Brushes, paint you like,
Money.
a GW
Money.
water cup.
Our kid need to sell to buy more models.
Clippers, paint, brush. Experiment with your brushes because Citadel ones work well. A light, a comfortable chair.
Yeah, guess the right height.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I do most of my painting in the kitchen table. Kitchen chairs.
I do mine in the toilet.
Ventilated room.
Oh,
So that
Glue.
you don't die.
Glue. Lots of glue.
Lots of glue.
This is a big 5.
I know. All right, just pick ones.
Meat,
On the hobby,
brush,
on the gaming table, tape measure, dice, books.
dice.
Yeah, more dice than you can throw a stick at.
Yeah, more rigged the better.
Yeah. Clear as mud. Is everyone educated now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
If
have no
anyone
idea what we're
else,
talking about.
if anyone else has any ideas what you think the tools of the hobby you should have, now's your chance because otherwise we're going to sign off.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah. Or you could actually, if you're not sure, if you want to think about it later, you can put your messages on our new Discord channel. I know, it's finally here. Been talking about it for at least 20 minutes, and it's finally here. There is a link in the chat. Yes, please, you're welcome to join us. There's only really one strong rule. Don't be a dick.
Okay, I'll leave the channel now.
It's there for me to remind myself.
There you go. It is
My
for the
rule for me.
moderators, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're welcome to join us at that Discord channel. We're trying to build a community there. We'll have more conversations such as we're having here, the 6 of us just having a bit of a gander, have a yammer.
A gas bag?
Yeah, we've got a gas bag. Sure.
Or rambling-matic.
Rambling.
It's rambling, let's be honest.
I don't know what's going on. But thank you for joining us. Thank you very much, Hans Fam, for the subscription. Thank you, Isabel, for your subscription as well. I always mutilate your name, but you'd love it. All right, so we're going to say good night. Oh, wait a minute. Does anyone have their socials that they would like to advertise right now?
Oh my God, I have socials. That's right. You can find me. I've been waiting years to say. No, I haven't. You can find me on Instagram as monolith.rlg. I am just starting to build my stuff up there for ideas on how to really crappily paint. Have a look at what I've got.
The Mr. 400 person.
Yeah. Thank you. Pulled us 40k to have a look at my many growing armies. Please come along and have a look.
Pronto, you've got one.
Oh, yes, I do. It's Pronto 40k. I've got a successful 22 followers.
I've got 3 and 2 of them are in here.
And of course, you can find my Instagram, which is redbellyblack, and you can also see how jealous I am because I don't have 400. Bastard.
Blood Angels. Sorry, there's so many people.
So that's it, person. Once you can also catch us on our RLG socials. So I'm going to ask Michael what our Facebook one is.
That'd be RLG40K.
Yeah. What about Mark? What about our other Facebook one?
Other Facebook one? I don't know the other Facebook one. I thought there was only one.
It's the only one that counts for this stream and this podcast at the moment. What about YouTube? The other Mark?
Well, we have a YouTube. That's easy. It would be Wobbly Player Syndrome, wouldn't it?
No, it's not.
No.
Oh, no. I don't go on YouTube.
That's RLG, Real Loud Gamers.
Thank
That
you.
would be it. I knew that was the name for our other channel, but oops.
Anyone have any idea about the Twitter?
You have Twitter?
That would be at RLG Oz Gaming.
Thank
RLG,
you.
Real Loud Gamers.
I'm glad we got some people who know what the fuck they're talking about here.
There's no more hints at the bottom
It's
of the
the
Twitch
bad
screen.
man.
Oh, Facebook is RLG40K. Yes. Well done. And yeah, there is a hint. It changes. Look at that. Twitter, RLG Oz Gaming. Look at that. It changes. And you can obviously hear our podcast on any good podcast service. Look, make sure you look up Wobbly Player Syndrome or watches this on YouTube. I think that's it. I think we're done.
Yep, we are done.
I can find Darkmane on the beach with your sandcastles. It's fantastic.
Make sure you get enough water to moisturize it so it's easy to don't hurt your hands.
Adam, please start signing us off.
Oh, me? All right.
Yeah, say good night,
everyone.
Yeah.
Good night.
Anthony.
Good night. Thanks all.
Marks.
Night, everybody.
See you, bye.
And I say good night too. I'll see you Tuesday night for my regular hobby night. And Radio Mike.
Good night, everybody. What a pile of tools! Whether it's a $2 brush, a $14 water pot, or some fancy $70 brush, there's a lot of options out there. Really, it just comes down to what works for you. So, join us next month for more Wobbly Player Syndrome!